What's going on, y'all? Y'all know normally I have a little intro for y'all, but I decided let's go ahead and get straight into this thing. What's good? What's popping? Happy Tuesday, everybody. Ooh, I don't know about y'all, but it has been a week. It has been a week for your girl. But I'm super excited about the topic tonight because y'all know we talk about life, love, sex, and everything in between over here with a heavy focus on BDSM and the BIPOC community. And with that, over the time of the show, we've had doms, subs, people just interested, just a plethora of different people to educate us on different sides of BDSM. And so today, I am bringing on two amazing individuals that I met at Sex Down South a couple of weeks ago, like a month ago now. And my first interaction with them, they were on a panel, and just the way that they spoke about their relationship and their practices and everything like that, I was like, yeah, I definitely would love, love, love to you know, have my audience see them and be introduced to this. And I'm calling it the softer side of kink. So without further ado, let me welcome up BK and Goddess Jessi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all
Hey,
doing?
Peace, peace,
how are
peace.
you?
I'm good. Thank y'all so much for being here today. I'm super excited to talk about everything that you all have going on, especially with Sweet Love Sanctuary out in Houston. Which next time I'm in Houston, I'm definitely coming by.
Come through.
Definitely, I'm gonna have to make sure I stop by. So first off, let me let you all go ahead and introduce yourselves to everybody. Let them know, a little bit about yourself, how you all got to where you are now, and then we'll get started with everything.
Okay. Okay. So I'm Goddess Jessi. I am the high priestess and head mistress of the Sweet Love Sanctuary in Houston. I started, how did I get started? With the Sweet Love Sanctuary or with Kink or all of that?
Let's start with. That's a good point.
Right. Which
Hold
way
on.
do we want to go with it?
Okay, so let's start with Kink, and then we'll touch on the Sweet Love Sanctuary in a little bit.
Okay. I was born, wait, can we say cuss words?
Girl, you can say whatever you want to on
Okay,
here.
I was born a kinky bitch, okay?
That's
So
fine.
I think that just once I came into the world of intimacy and sexuality, all doors were open for me. So it's just kind of developed over time. And as I have made my sexual practice a practice, and I was certified as a tantric practitioner through Atlanta Tantra Institute with Goddess Amina, and that's where we met. And I was on my spiritual journey, and I was on my sexual liberation journey, and both of those paths became one path. And now I do have a sanctuary where I teach a lot of forms of healing, education, ancestral practices, and tantra and pleasure. And so here we are. We lay it all out there, and we have a lot of space for information and experience from a safe, black, sexy place.
I love it. Heavy on the black. Heavy
Heavy
on
on
the
the
black.
black, heavy on the sexy.
All of it. Heavy
Heavy
on
on
all of it, definitely. All right, and BK, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
What's up? What's up? I'm BK. I am this first man of the Sweet Love Sanctuary with my wonderful partner, Goddess Jessi, here in Houston, Texas, along with co-facilitator in the Divine Duality course as well as Throne Time course that that I do as well. So that is what we do currently in
Mhm.
our whole um, collection of relationship and business wise, and that's our business kink. Shit, we make kinks out of everything if it works. You know
Hey,
what I'm
If it
saying? Like
fits.
find some things that you can make kinky. But anyway, how I found kink was same thing. Practice Goddess Amina, my true heart. Definitely just in following her and the teachings and learning is what opened me up to BDSM and kink and pleasure, which I consider myself the pleasure evangelist. So I'm definitely passionate about pleasure discovery, and definitely specifically in men and masculines finding their way in the discovery of pleasure and naming their desires. So that is something that I'm truly, truly passionate about, and helping men finding their way in full pleasure, and breaking down some of the shit, patriarchy, and reprogramming some things so you can get to a full life of pleasure just like they see other people get to. And that's just not just men, but also women. But definitely, I have a passion for men to do that, as I have learned from women on how to do that. So that's what I do right now.
Awesome. And I think that's very important because while majority of my career has definitely been focused on women, as a girl who grew up in the South, Bible Belt, keep a nickel between your legs until you get married has been the mantra of the people.
Certainly.
But nobody talks about what it is to be pleasured, once you do decide, to go into sex and sexuality and sensuality and what that looks like, to have that ownership of your body and the ownership of your pleasure.
Hmm.
So I think it's admirable because I do believe that it also lacks for a lot of men because, like you said, of the patriarchy, because of the fear of being seen as too feminine or too soft or whatever the case may be, that even with them, sometimes they don't fully connect with what pleasure can be.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And pleasure goes beyond your dick. That is my favorite thing. Pleasure goes beyond your dick. That's only one place to find it. So I think that starts there. And once you see that, it's a whole expansion and abundance of life that you can get. So that's the one thing to start working on first. A small step to see it that way. But yeah, like I think I'm talking too far. But yeah.
Listen, whatever you feel led to share with the people, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? So, one thing that y'all definitely hit on is tantra. So, I know a while back, for those who have been following the show for a good little minute, we had Tayomi on, and she gave us some great information about tantra. Tantra is definitely something that I personally have wanted to learn more about, because so I feel like a lot of people, and shout out to Miss Smithers, I see you up in here.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like a lot of people, the first time they ever heard of Tantra was that they watched like American Pie or something like that.
Oh,
And
I don't even remember that.
I'm
the
trying to remember.
mother,
Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom.
I just remember
She's
the
an old
the
hoe.
apple pie part where
Hmm.
old boy put his dick in the
Right.
pie thing. That's all I remember.
Right.
Yeah. But
And that's why I
Stifler,
say my pussy would be a peach cobbler.
come on, Peach Cobbler. Come on,
With
Southern.
a lot of
You know,
with a lot of crust. With a lot of crust.
no, the crust is the best
That's the
part.
best part.
The best part, period. I'm with you. But
But yeah,
so
she did
what
talk.
yeah, so she talked about it, and that was the first time I heard about it. And of course, I heard it, but I was a kid. I was like, okay, whatever that is. But as I've gotten older, and the thing, and my sexual health education journey, career has grown, and I've been able to learn so many different things. What led you to Tantra, and what benefit, or what do you think was the best benefit of it for you?
Hmm. Oh, what led me to Tantra was I had a podcast back in the day called the Pussy Party Podcast. And the whole thing was about your unalienable right to pleasure. And so I went around the country seeing how people were having sex around the country. And I ran into Amina. I went to a masturbation workshop and I had an experience with like 30 black women masturbating, and it was amazing. And that journey of just wanting to expose people to the things that we say are taboo, or the things that we say like, oh, we're not having good sex, or black people don't do that, or what have you. I just wanted to show what was actually happening. And what actually was happening was people diving deeper into, like I said, sexuality as a practice, and looking at expanding what pleasure even looks like. Because you could hear tantra, like you said, you was young. Like, what is that? We were not even told that pleasure existed outside of like sexual intercourse,
Mm-hmm.
maybe kissing or something like that. So it's like, if you don't know that it's possible, it ain't gonna hit you. So it just opened up my mind to what was possible, and also what I was already innately doing or feeling connected to, that I just didn't know it had a name. I didn't know it had modalities. I didn't know it went deeper than that. But it was already natural to me. So, and then there's a lot of ways that Tantra shows up, like the way that we do it. We got a Samina, maybe different than other styles. And ours is very touch based and
Mm-hmm.
erotic based. It is going to be, energy levels and all that stuff, because there's a lot of, I know, energetic tantra, you know, but ours is, we believe that people are touch starved. So we definitely get in there.
Okay, okay. So one of the things that I experienced, and this was, I told you this was my first time when we did the Kundalini class. It was such a very interesting experience, especially for a person like me who like being still and really kind of censoring my mind has always been a challenge because I tell people all the time, my brain is like having 100 tabs open and you trying to figure out where the music coming from. Like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
constantly.
And the famous question, like, what's your sign? That's what everybody's favorite. When you tell them how
I'm
you think, a
I'm,
Gemini.
hmm
She said all the
Oh,
tabs, all the
right, all the
tabs. He's a
tabs.
Gemini moon, so he sympathizes a little bit.
you know, 'cause I don't know. It is so crazy because I have been able to quiet some, but not like fully just. So like meditation, trying things like yoga, all those things have always been super duper hard for me. Like if I'm gonna do a meditation, I'll probably do like a guided meditation and you got 5 minutes out of me.
Yeah.
Because after those 5 minutes, we all over the place. We starting to think about a bunch of different other things. So I think one of the things that I experienced during the class was really trying to force what and I don't want to say necessarily force, but just being hyper aware of trying to stay in the moment and not like go everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then all the different feelings of it changing, the different sensations and hitting your body in different spots and things like that. Just kind of I don't know, it was a lot. It was interesting. It was it's something I probably would definitely try again
Mm-hmm.
because it was
Like, you didn't really know what to expect, but now
yeah,
you know the possibilities. You
right.
can
I'll try it
go
again.
more intentional. You can go deeper. You can, yeah. And that's really what it's about. It's about that embodiment piece. And that goes back to Tantra. It's because we as a people are used to disassociating from our bodies to survive and make it and succeed. Like, disassociation was associated with like what you had to do to be successful. And like
Mhm.
colonizing our bodies in that way come with practices like this that are our practices. And so I'm glad you had that first experience, and I was there. I was feeling you. You know
I
what I'm
know
saying?
because you said yeah I saw you I was like see
You was
like
doing great. I was like, there's more. There's more in there.
Yeah, that was a great experience, and I didn't know what you were talking about, the body tapping workshop, but yeah, just along hearing body tapping, and it's like, what
What's
is that?
that?
You know what I mean?
literally
Uh,
and when I read it when I was reading the description like because I've heard the term Kundalini before. Once again, didn't know what it was, really hadn't looked into it. And I told myself when I got to the conference, I was like, I'm gonna do my best to take advantage of as many experiences as possible.
Yeah,
And when I
good.
absolutely,
read what it was, and I read what it was,
yeah.
I was like I was very confused. I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this body tapping situation. Like the first thing I honestly thought about is like when I've seen videos of people that have like a bowl or something on their stomach and then they hit the bowl. That was the first thing I honestly thought about.
Mm,
But to be in it, like I get the disruption that the body tapping is meant to do and how it's supposed to basically it keeps you grounded, but at the same time it disrupts energy within your body.
wakes it up.
Wakens
Right.
you. Yeah.
So
I wanted
it
to
was
say something to
oh,
your
go ahead.
meditation piece. Like I heard, and I can't quote the person who I heard it from about meditation, but they were saying how we make meditation so hard because just kind of like what you said, you go in, it's like, okay, I got to clear out all these thoughts. And so you end up you're thinking about the thoughts that you are trying to get rid of. So it's literally like you're kind of doing the thing that you try not to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so going in with the ease of like there are thoughts in my mind and things of that nature, but the meditation piece is me being in the room, in the space, being in this moment, kind of like what you said. I came to this conference to try some things, and literally, like, even though it doesn't seem like you were meditating because you were thinking and you were like, what is this? What is this moment? You were isolated in your own space, and it was about you.
Mhm.
And I think that's one experience. Like when you meditate, it is a time that you are clearing out to reset. And although you still have some stuff going on there, you know what I'm saying? It was a experience in meditation, some kind of form. And you just grow from there. But we start off as it's so hard where I got to get in here and literally do something that's impossible. And that means turn off my mind.
Right.
As
Mhm.
a, as a 128 tab compute, like it's
Right.
not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it's like you have to wiggle into it and figure out the way. You know what I mean? And I'm just telling that from like my experience in it and how because sometimes I can't stop my mind from thinking. Sometimes, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And that
But
might not be the goal.
that might not be the goal, but it's so many ways to meditate.
Right.
There's masturbation meditation, which
Right.
again,
Mhm.
something learned from our tantra. We call our tantra queen, our like
our master
our
teacher.
master teacher. You know what I mean? But and speaking of tantra, that's what opened me up to meditation. It opened me
Okay.
up to so many things, and I came into tantra by attending a workshop through Amina, and it was a pussy eating workshop.
Yes,
And it
thank
was
you,
so,
Amina.
and I was one of two men in the workshop. That's what's crazy. A pack, it was sold out, but one of two men. And like, and it wasn't even on, like, I didn't feel like I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just opened up, just like you, trying something new, trying
Mhm.
to do something, and just trying something new opened me up to a whole nother world, because lo and behold, the teacher is a tantra practitioner, master teacher, and all of these things. And how I got there was just like an organic way, but that is now like a family member to me. That opened me
Mhm.
up to the relationship that I'm in. It opened me up to the person that I am in kink, in pleasure, in shit in my whole life. Like how I now flow and how I live my life and how I show up for myself, how I allow you know, allow me to be who I want to be. Like, you know what I mean? Easily. So Tantra did all that, and it opened up so many other pockets um, from just that
Right.
that one
Then
thing,
Kink and
and then kink, and then, yeah,
BDSM
like
and
all
all
the
of that.
things. So
Yeah. So maybe I could give a little nugget, a little meditation nugget, and it's something that I teach inside of the goddess initiation, and because meditation is in there, right?
Mhm.
Um, if the goal is to quiet the mind, because I think sometimes people don't realize, like, you can make the goal of meditation many things. It doesn't have to be in masturbation meditation. You can let out all the tabs on and music loud, and they can all roar at the same time. That's why we like that style sometimes. But anywho, so you want to think about your mind as like an open space, maybe library. And when the thought come in, instead of being like, "Fuck, I'm thinking about some shit," or trying to solve it, trying to be like, oh, I gotta go to the card thing, yes, tomorrow, Tuesday. But instead of trying to take action on it, just acknowledge it and put it on the bookshelf. Like allow
Okay.
it to come in, allow it to come in, versus being like, what the fuck you doing here? I'm supposed to be being quiet. Because it's a little bit of like, like you're getting on yourself versus just
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow I need to go to the mall. Okay, put it on the bookshelf and then go back to, and then if something else comes in, just hear it, put it on the bookshelf. And instead of solving it or giving it a little too much energy, like you just put it in its place. And then there is an open, clear mind. It's not a mind with nothing in it. It's a little bit more organized.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sitting inside of meditation for like a few minutes or whatever, doing that, like thinking about it that way will help the stuff actually happen, like the meditation happen,
Mm-hmm.
versus like getting lost in the sauce and like, okay, you know what? I'm about to go take
Mm-hmm.
this thing that's like it's nagging me on my mind. So just a little tidbit, just a little tip. So y'all,
Oh, definitely appreciate that. So the way I came up with the title for today, and I wish I could remember verbatim exactly what you all were saying, but I remember when you were on your panel, um, you all were speaking towards just kink in general, because if I'm not mistaken, this was the panel about kink saved my life.
mm-hmm.
So, and you all were speaking about kink in general, and there was a statement that was made between the two of you, basically speaking to the fact that the way that you all approach kink and the way that you practice kink was very, very different than most. Because of course, when most people think about kink BDSM, the first thing that they think about are whips, chains, pain, and things of that nature. And it doesn't have to be that way. Can you all speak a little bit to the more sensual side of it? Because that's what I got from what you all said, that it was a lot more sensual for you all versus how people like the pain side of it. So it was a little bit on the opposite end for you all.
Yes. You want to take that or?
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I mean, so I think the kinky side of life, or the kink lifestyle itself, I think just like you said, it's a picture of whips, chains, leather, and boots,
Bondage,
and,
lockdown,
and
shut the fuck up,
like,
do as I say.
yeah, like,
Yeah, very.
all
Right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. It is maybe somewhere, like, just not in like how I like to fuck or whatever. So anyway, just in our life or in our lifestyle or in our natural practice, you know what I mean, being kinky with each other, like, we kind of found some things that literally are now our kink, uh,
Hmm.
are now the way that we flow, are now something that are in our sexual practice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Didn't
Or
have like a
something that are
name.
documented in our family history. Shit, we kinky. That's what we name it. And that started with baths.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner, her goddess bath retreat. It's a whole situation that definitely needs to be checked out. But from there, her being this curator of this awesome bath, she, ran me a bath, and it's a lover's bath. So we started from there, and it includes flowers. So just that whole setup and the flowers and stuff, and I'm in this whole experience, and I'm like feeling the flowers, and I'm good and
Baptizing it.
high, and everything is good. Everything is good. It's titties in my hands and on my body, hands everywhere. It's flower. All of this feeling, coconut milk and oil and just all of it, water. So, and dang, I kind of skipped over, but this is how it was created. So, so then
I'm feeling
I'm
you
feeling
back in that
these
moment.
flowers. I'm like, got them in my hands. I'm feeling how they feel, and I think it's just like the petals and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is like sending me there
Okay.
with my dick and with my, like, the whole kind of orgasmic feeling, or the feeling that you get, my body's tingling, all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, throw them at me. So
I'm like, what?
what? Like what? No, I don't know.
Grooming.
I think I started throwing them at
It's
myself.
yourself, yeah.
I started throwing them at myself. So
You're
I'm
like, what
throwing.
are you
And she's like,
doing?
"What are you doing?"
He's like, I love how
I'm
this
like,
feels.
man, this is just like, I don't know about.
Yeah, I think we're having a little bit of a
Might have
journey
been on
as
trip,
well.
too,
So
yeah.
we were open emotionally, and
Which
and
is
the
great.
senses were heightened, which I think, unlocked
It
the
was
door.
intimacy at its peak, and so I'm like, throw them at me, and here we go. And so it's the flowers splacking me on my chest
and your face
and the water, and things like that. And so, just mention on how BDSM looks. It's chains and whips and floggers and smacking and all this stuff. So it has a little bit of it, but instead of a flogger, it's a fucking flower.
Rose petal.
Rose
Still
petal.
impact
It's
play.
a chrysanthemum.
Yeah, all the different
some
things.
kind of big old fly,
Eucalyptus.
something. You know what I mean? And it feels amazing because I was like,
Or
man,
rubbing it on
like
your body.
feeling it, like really, really savoring the feeling. Like just like taking it in, like feeling that feeling in my fingers, and like, damn, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's on my, like, this flower's on my nipple, and this shit is like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an experience, and like that also set me off too. So you know what I'm saying? Like, so that is the softer kink side of it. And it developed, and it's a thing. It's a real fucking thing. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not like I don't know. I don't care if somebody else did it, but shit, we created it over here at this house.
I had
you know what I'm
never.
saying? So
yeah, we like just Dora the Explorer, a intimacy night, and then it turned into a thing. And I think that I had Googled the definition of kink, and it just says like something that is curved that is usually straight. Which I get it, like a kink, right? And so to me, I laughed because I thought that was kind of funny. But it's just anything that you may do that's outside of the box or outside of the norm.
Right.
Normally, you get flowers, you put them in a vase, and you look at them, and they're pretty. Or normally, you could put them in a bath and sit in it, and it's cool. But normally, you don't use it as a tool to get a chubby or get a, arousal or, and even to use it inside of a impact play situation and all that stuff. So he was like, is this a nature kink? What is it? Like trying to figure out what
sensory kink, because it was like sensory.
Yeah.
And
it even kind of tastes good because of everything. So it's like
it was roses and stuff. Like, I mean, of course, some roses, toxins and all that shit. So we're not suggesting eat the flowers.
But
do what you do at your own risk, but
it's a natural thing.
Try it out. You know what I mean? And even still, I feel like it can even be something that you have as a self-care or on that meditation, masturbation in the bath, and have that experience with that flower. Like, it's cool, it's pretty together, but like crush it in your hands, like let it feel it, like give it a feeling, like so you can really, really, that's meditation. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how this feels, and like, what does it feel like? Does it feel like velvet? Does it feel like this on my skin? You know what I'm saying? Like, go that deep. So it's kind of like you being intentional about your pleasure. You're giving it like a voice. You're giving it a description. You like breaking it down. You know what I mean? You really, really are claiming and discovering some things that normally wouldn't be a thing.
Right.
And if they want to call that kinky, I'm absolutely fucking kinky. You feel me? Like because the definition of kinky was something that you turn,
something that is usually straight that is curved.
The kinky one though, it was like
anything unusual,
sexually.
Inside of sexual engagement.
Right.
So unusual. Like, well, what the fuck is usual?
Right. So a clothespin on the nipple, that's unusual. So I get how it like a clothespin on the nipple.
Oh yeah, like a clamp. Yeah.
Different. So I get it. I get how it developed, but it is endless. And I mean, our flower kink is just like one of the various ways.
Yeah, of course.
Like he's got floggers, and we've got claws, and some of the
wax.
Wax.
Another
We're big waxers. Oh yeah. But I think that it's not just
Yes.
It's not
Okay.
just like the tools that we use, because like you would say whips and stuff like that. Floggers is standard, like BDSM 101, but the way that we use it,
Mm-hmm.
is different. If he's using his floggers and they're flopping against my pussy like I'm going through a car wash, that's a lot more sensual than getting you to a point of, oh, I can't take anymore. Now I need to
Yeah.
stop. You know, it's gonna be hard for me to say stop to a lot of what happens. And I think it's just a mindset. So I want to back it up a little bit.
Yeah. I kind
And
of jump.
no, you did great. I want to talk about maybe how and why the default is the
Mm-hmm.
painful.
Okay.
I feel like kink and BDSM is a erotic outlet to heal mental and emotional and physical trauma.
Agreed.
And so trauma, more times than not, has a level of physical, emotional, or mental pain associated with it. So it's kind of like a transmutation of energy, so that something that had you feeling powerless, you now can feel empowered in that same energy. And that's kind of like what Tayomi was talking about when she started to like getting whoopings from her mom.
Mm-hmm.
A survival coping mechanism that she did. And that just shows how resilient the body is and how we can transmute really anything, right? So, he said he's a pleasure evangelist. We consider ourselves pleasure whores because there are pain freaks. There are. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
it has its place. And I love what BDSM and kink has allowed to like make balanced inside of that space of masochism and the sadists. BDSM, the SM part is where most of the pain is. The
Right.
the the last part. And so with us being pleasure whores, I'm like, I'm not a pain freak.
Yeah.
I'm a pleasure whore. So to me, there's no gateway of pain that I have to experience to be in a pleasurable space. I'm a direct main line. Like feel good really is feel good.
Yeah.
And I do have a low pain tolerance. I am deeply ancestrally connected. So as far as, getting beat, getting whooped, getting tied down, chained down, even though, I do have a girlfriend that is a rigger. So, but and amazing at it. But, we experience these things from a place of being healed, or from a place of like wanting to increase pleasure, versus from a place of wanting to have a escapism, to have a replacement, to fill a void, to be seen or to be felt for the first time, or barely, only in this one space. Where we come from taking kink and BDSM out of a place that we use as a tool inside of like the survival mode
Mm-hmm.
that we come into, like our pleasure as black and brown bodies like usually do, and into the thriving mode. So now that we're in thriving mode and we live in abundance and we live in pleasure, we live, inside of that energy of connectivity and stuff. When we go to BDSM and kink, we may not be yearning to fulfill that masochist side of us, or we may not be yearning to be a sadist because we have had that energy done to us. We've healed, or we are healing. So now we want to experience what that looks like without having to go through a struggle, without having to earn it, without having to beg for it, without having to be good. Although,
Mm-hmm.
you just get it because you are, and because you ask for it. It's what you
'Cause you want to.
desire.
That's consent.
Right. So it's very desire and consent based, versus like, to me, fixing something or helping to release something that's been bottled up. And it's no shade to it, because I teach it. I will give it as medicine, and I do believe it's a good medicine. But I do think it's two sides to it. And that's why I like even beyond sensual, just soft
Mm-hmm.
kink in general, you know, um many of the different like topics and categories inside of kink, all of them can be done softly. All of them can be done sensually, probably except for, well, no, all of them. Even cock and ball torture could be done sensually, because I could see like tickling or something being like torture, even though it's like,
We ain't gonna practice that.
even though it's like, it's not like, yeah. But so I'm
Well,
just
we're
like,
not gonna
my
find
mind is just
out.
going because there's
No,
so
we
many.
ain't. We
There's
ain't.
so many, but most of them can be done a certain way. It's the mindset of the top and the bottom, or the dom, the sub, the mistress, or the, mister, or what have you. And so that's probably why you feel a different energy, because we are kinky and we're erotic, but also we're in a very hold healed place where we're not doing it to like take the place or heal something else or to fix something else. We're just doing it in this surplus, this
Mhm.
Add to the
extra.
abundance. Yeah.
Right.
It's like
This
I
is
said,
the
add
milk
to
and
the
honey. This is
abundance.
not the bread and the butter. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Gotcha.
I
I,
did want
I,
to say that on the BDSM is real quick. I think sometimes too they think freaky, and that means pain. Like
Right.
you like pain.
mm,
Say you freaky, or you like it, or you associate any kind of like freak kind of thing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Are you
right.
okay with that word? They think that means pain. You know what I mean? Or that thing that's, oh, you gonna want your
You
ass
gonna
woe
beat
out.
my ass.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like, yeah, I had to learn that. You know what I'm saying? I learned that myself as a person. Like, yeah, or even down to, yeah, just because I got ass don't mean I want that thing smacked hard. And that comes from somebody who loves me to, but
Mm-hmm.
she taught me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, soldier. Like, so those kind of things is kind of like how we perceive one thing is like, oh, you're a freak, but you want some rah. No. You know what I mean? I might be a soft freak. Like, I like it. Yeah. Like, I'm raw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. Something like that. Yeah.
I definitely understand, and I appreciate all of that. Specifically because one of the biggest things that I feel like we've touched on quite a bit over several different episodes here at the Queendom is the fact that while there is so much pleasure to be found within kink BDSM and figuring out what you like, what you don't like, how you want to receive all these things, that there's also space for releasing and healing
Mm-hmm.
and being able to let some things go through some of the practices and things like that, which is why I've had one or two yeah, like one or two um, kink affirming therapists, and I hope to have many, many
Yeah.
more
Yeah. Yeah.
um, as the show goes on. Because I think one of the biggest things, especially if you are someone who is either interested in the lifestyle or already practicing the lifestyle, but you still want to have, you still want to go to therapy because you still want to work through some other things. It's kind of hard to have that level of conversation with someone who is not familiar with the lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
or they are familiar with the lifestyle but they have a negative connotation with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think that's really important. And now with some of the things that you all offer at Sweet Love Sanctuary, um, from what I gather when I was doing my research trying to figure out, like, when I come, what am I trying to because once again, I said I want to make sure I get a chance to stop by and experience something
Excuse me.
while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, what would be for somebody who is like brand new to all of this? What would be something that you would highly suggest them check out?
At the sanctuary,
Hmm.
so it depends on what they're looking for, because I'll say this forever. Um, my godmother used to tell me that everyone's path is like the wind, it never blows the same way twice. So it isn't like one way that
Hmm.
you could go. You could start, like a lot of people travel in to do the goddess bath retreat. They want to tap in, they want to finally let go and like do that deep work to overcome those traumas, and they want to like have a spiritual life. They want to have a spiritual practice. They don't want to get into nothing that they don't, that they shouldn't. They don't want to do things that's like outside of their capacity. They want to make sure that the people are credible, and they also want to do it with somebody that looks like them. So usually, like if people coming in, they're flying in, they here for the weekend or what have you. That goddess bath is a thing. Now, people, something that we decided to like open up, not formally, but just like people coming and like having a like short residency here, and then you be open to like what the sanctuary has to offer, and just depending on where you're at and what's going on, you get to move inside of that. But I would say no matter what, you probably need to get a reading. You need to come. You need to get a reading, because all roads, whether you're getting spiritual healing, whether you're getting some education and some knowledge inside of like yourself, inside of your personal power, inside of ancestry, Orisha practices, and things like that, all roads pretty much start with the reading. Like, let's see what your spirit says. And then from there, we may do a spiritual bath outside. We may do rituals. We may, dive deep. We might go into the garden. We might do some stuff with herbs. It just really depends. So we would really have to have a chat. And you tell me, like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm working on. And then we customize it. Especially if you're about to come and you're going to, like, be in the flesh with us, then, we will do whatever official things need to be done. And then with you being able to be in the space, be in the altar room, be in the, with other people in community, all of that is going to be like a part of your experience of being able to just live in the goddess lifestyle, in the goddess way for a certain amount of time. It's just going to transform you, period. And then you leave shiny and new and fresh and replenished and a part of community, whether you're near or far. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yeah, I think you did. I think you did. So let me also go ahead and put this out there for anybody. So I am a person. I've had several readings over my adult life, and I can attest. I'm gonna just say, God is just is the truth. 'Cause ain't no way you should have known what you had said to me.
oh
And,
yeah, I wouldn't
yeah,
know if that was between us.
but I'm just saying. But the reason I want to make sure that when people see this, because I know, especially in the Black community, there's such a negative stigma around readings and
Yeah,
experiencing spirituality in other ways. I want people to know that this is not like she ain't playing. Okay, let me just I'm gonna put it like that. She the truth, because
I appreciate that.
you should not. There was no reason you should have been able to say that.
Yeah.
And I had to call my friend and be like, "Hey, so."
Yeah.
I do
Hey,
that sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta be. I mean, sometimes a message will hit you from anywhere. Yeah.
but and I mean it in the best possible way. So I definitely want to
Yes,
out there
yes,
just
yes.
in case anybody is like, I don't know, that sound a little bit too. No, like I
No. Yeah.
promise y'all, it is in a good way. It is in a safe way.
Yeah.
It is in a comforting way. Let me say, yeah, a comforting way. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
best way to put it. Um,
Yeah. So can I speak something to that?
sure.
So the Sweet Love Sanctuary, that is the school. And then we do have Adun Sanctuary of Ancestral Spirituality, which is our church. And
Okay.
so, we do practice ancestral spirituality. And that's what you felt. That was your people talking to me and me being in tune with that and telling you, you know. And we teach that, but we're not really teach it. We help you develop that, inside of you. And I would say that things are changing. It is still a lot of stigma around any kind of something that's not Western Catholicism style stuff, but people have been waking up. People have been in the information age. So I do believe that it is changing, and even those that are still in church every Sunday are getting readings from me. Or have a practice beyond just sitting in those pews on Sunday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are in those spaces and they're like, man, this is straight, but there gotta be more. And we give them more. This place was birthed to one, dismantle misogyny inside of African traditional practices. And those same misogynistic style things come from, the Christian church as well. Like it's the same thing, different building. And then the other side of it is to help people tap into their ancestry and develop their personal power, their personal gifts from God. And so when you were like, what's the best way to come into the sanctuary? Like, man, when we're dealing with it from that aspect, there's so many ways that we could go about it. It's not cookie cutter. Everybody, has a different path to the creator. And so we do tap into those things, and we do help deal with that, like church hurt and various traumas in that way, so that you can, get your main line to, to your creator and move forward, like in alignment with your destiny. So, yeah, I know I kind of hit you with it or whatever. But I was trying to be gentle.
You were, because you eased it in there, and
Yeah,
I was
get it.
like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But,
So it's just a lot of different ways that the messages come, or that we teach to, and we bridge that gap, I think, really beautifully between spirituality and sexuality.
Yeah, and on the sanctuary side, kind of what I would say, I don't know if you would come specifically for this, but you can send your brother, or
Yes,
your man,
yes.
or, maybe a friend or something like that. But what he could tap into or things like that is basically exploring themselves and looking back into themselves and pulling out those things that are already there, and illuminating powers as well. Maybe not as on the spiritual side and things of that nature, but more so on the expansion of your whole life and also becoming a God. So excuse me, not as we have different programs, I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, it could be as
it's a whole different thing. So you can go to church or you can go to Pleasure Town, one way or the other. And
right,
you're coming through either way. Either way, you're going through church is Pleasure Town. So that's the whole thing, because we do, we branch spirituality and sexuality together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it is that's another thing. That's an event. So if you come to the, come to Houston and it's happening, that's another way that you can come to the sanctuary. It's by an event, because we do also have events here, which I guess that's a great time to introduce, like Pussy Church, which is going on tour as well. But that's another way you can come into the sanctuary and experience this Pussy Church and kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so we have a few public events that we do. Pussy Church is one of them. It's just a place, like church of getting a message, receiving some healing, getting that community, replenishing, coming out feeling refreshed. What we do to feel refreshed is a little different than at regular church, at what I call penis church. But also, yeah, I do, because it's patriarchal.
Penis church.
Well, because someone said, well, do you have penis church? I said, well, that's just regular church, but Pussy Church is just it from a feminine aspect, where we're more collective than hierarchical.
Y'all see this real, because I'm thinking about it too. So don't think me play. I'm listening.
Yeah, because church, like standard church, is to me from a masculine standpoint. You got one person, you got these rules, that are set up where gender and status will give you certain whatever inside of this space. Where at Pussy Church, everybody has the opportunity to be the pastor, to be the minister for someone, to be the prophet, to be the prayer warrior, to be the, whatever that is, to be the healer. Because it's how we set it up, and we go on a journey. We do a, usually a plant medicine journey. So, usually, it's not a church that's 420 friendly. At Penis Church and all those things, and there's messages that are given, and everyone is able to like have their spirit speak or minister to each other. And so to me, that's Pussy, is connected and collaborative versus one person or two people resonating to everybody, and like you either got it or you didn't. And so we're going to be bringing that experience with different twists to different cities. So we're doing Dallas, we're doing Los Angeles, we're doing New Jersey, we're doing Houston, of course, and then Atlanta.
ATL.
So that'll be the first round of things that we do. But I know that there's more cities because DC's like yelling out, you know, and some other places.
Just to get that experience, and I did want to talk about the church part.
Go ahead, baby.
It is church. Let me say that. From a choir boy, I grew up in church, all that stuff. I'm with you. So people, I know we got listeners and things like that. And just like you said, you know, some people are like, oh no, church and the word pussy. Oh my God.
Like two very taboo words.
You know what I'm saying? But chill out. It is really it's amazing. The experience and the messages that come and the people who come and the brothers who come and like we had a mother and a daughter who came and from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
Because real talk, the church, the word is what attracts them sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a pussy church. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it also makes people fearful. But it's amazing to see what happens once you take that jump and come experience it, and then what you leave with. Because even still, if you don't believe in cards or messaging, you're going to get the experience of witnessing somebody being changed in a moment. Mm-hmm. You are really going to see that. And it's not one time that has not happened in various times.
Yeah.
In the same space. So I look forward to that. But
yes.
Yeah, it's just an experience. And I hope, and just speaking to somebody
and it's closing optional.
Yeah, who's working on their spirituality and their sexuality, and it's kind of like a fight, like, you know what I mean? Like, take a chance for yourself, like, you know what I mean? And really, really deep dive into your own practice, be your own God, and be your own religion for once, and see how it takes you and makes you so much stronger, and what kind of power it brings in seeing yourself as God. That's what they preach at church. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You're supposed to be there, but like, yeah, call yourself God one day and start walking and feeling like that. You know, and see what it does. So yeah, I'm going on. I'm rambling and shit.
No, you're fine.
Like, you're good. No.
I think you're about growing up in the church.
Yeah, growing up in the church. That's what I totally feel like I already know. Cards. Oh my God.
Right, witchcraft.
Ancestors, shrines. What?
Right, lead the ancestors.
Yeah.
They late.
Oh my God. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, cool. Like, but yes, I respect it. I honor it. Actually, and I say it, learning more about African spirituality has brought me back to church.
Yeah.
And brought me back closer to that experience, and go with a whole nother reason. And, you know, it's a whole different feeling in that thing.
Yeah.
When I'm in there with my ancestors and I know what, you know what I mean? Because that's real. It's not something that we can just discount and just act like, man, that is fake and that is a white man and blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. No, like, yeah, it has its power. It brought us through. You know what I'm saying? It did a lot. So that's not what we do here at the sanctuary. Pussy church, you'll hear a gospel song, with titties out. And still, it is reverenced, it is respected, it is honored in the same way. You know what I'm saying? Because ancestors are welcome here. Why won't we play some music that they with? You know what I mean? Also gonna get some, you know, so
Trina.
We really honor spirit here. We honor spirit, you know.
Some yin yang twins.
Yeah, and we make sure that they know we're not here to conform, to make something like, oh yeah, y'all doing okay, or no, y'all can't be over there doing right because y'all call it pussy church. It is what it is. Like, if it don't work for you, cool. Go to the church that you want to, and whatever name they use, and
but the sexually free
after church, whatever.
Yeah,
but you can come here and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, but the sexually free and the spiritually free are the ones that are creatives, the ones that are empathic, the ones that are naturalists. You know, that want to have a place to like connect to, and it not be like so much pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like how I was saying, like, this is a clothing optional event. This is a place where, you know, nudity is welcome. It's a, you know, we have a lot of various plant medicines and herbs and things and 420, like all the stuff that, you know, we bust out all the wines and stuff, because one of the cards was talking about celebration and all this stuff. So we, like, instead of the, sparkly grape, like
Like
we
really Holyfield.
lived in that energy of whatever the spirit was saying versus just talking about it.
Oh,
We
yeah,
really
yeah.
are experiencing that. And then I think where it goes back to the old school ancestral side is that usually we end pussy church with a spiritual bath, because
Okay.
I'm that's I'm an Oshun priestess, so spiritual baths and cleansing with the water. That's like when they have the pictures of us in the river and wade in the water, like yeah. But we do that. We bring that energy of the river, to wherever we at, inside the goddess garden or the backyards or wherever, and that cleansing, that release.
Yeah.
After all of that is just
Yeah.
so beautiful, and to be able to sunbathe and to be able to eat fruits and to eat fresh, foods. Like we're living in the energy of like, come on the Sabbath day and rest and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
we're doing it for
Yeah.
real in a lush and plush,
Yeah.
plush,
That's
plush
good.
way.
A pluggish way.
Versus like, let me put on my Sunday best. Let me put on some kind of penguin suit to act a certain way and whatever a certain way to like have my connection with God. And no shade to that, but that's just not
What this
this
is.
church, So that is a great experience, like to come, fly into town and experience Pussy Church. Um, Sometimes we have events called Sanctuary After Dark where things get kinky, you know. We have full moon and new moon events where we are honoring the energy of the moon and doing our spiritual maintenance and all those things. So, it's so many ways to skin the cat. We're a very active community. We even have a way for people to connect virtually, like that are not local. Teach a lot of classes and things like that. But of course, nothing is better than touching and feeling and being, in the flesh with each other. So I can't wait to see how you penetrate the
How you
space.
come? It's a whole menu.
Yeah.
Got choices.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited. I'm definitely gonna have to look into it because I do plan to have another trip out that way very, very soon. And it is definitely at the top of my list to make sure I touch base with you all while I'm there. So we are actually at the end of the show. So I know I put your information in the description below, but please let the people know where they can find you. And any other pertinent information you want to let them know at this moment.
Yes, yes, yes. So of course, sweetlovesanctuary.com. You can see, actually, it's going to be an update because we have so many programs now for the masculines that we need to add. But basically, everything you see there for the feminine, we have for the masculine as well. As far as healing journeys, as far as healing programs, um, the spiritual development programs, and then of course, I think the number one thing is the goddess bath retreats. If you want some one-on-one, like let's get this shit popping, that's gonna be the way to go. Instagram as well, Sweet Love Sanctuary, spelled regular, no nothing extra in it, just Sweet Love Sanctuary, because there's a lot of fake pages out there. So I don't know. And if you want, like intimacy coaching and different
Yeah.
things, and
So you can find me at Jesus Jones 7 on Instagram right now, and basically, or of course through the Sweet Love Sanctuary. So definitely follow us both. But and far as like our one-on-one coaching through Throne Time or our Divine Duality course is as a group, definitely check me out or check us out and
yeah, for
hit
the
us up.
masculines.
And for the masculines, because yeah, we got something for everybody.
Everybody,
And a saying, welcome to the Sweet Love Sanctuary.
where no one is exempt from healing.
Nobody.
Love it.
Not even the healers. So we going
Nobody.
through it with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And also I do want to say before we close out is that we say men, women, mass, femme, but we are
all
inclusive, non-binary, trans,
all
half
of it.
fairy, half woman. We have all of that.
All of it. You are welcome with the same energy, respected and honor. So
sexual
definitely.
orientations, all those things are welcome and encouraged,
Yes.
in their fullness here.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, I definitely want to say thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for everybody that's been watching.
Thank you for
And then
having
you,
me.
Mhm.
of
This is an
course.
Oh,
honor.
I do need to
Absolutely.
tell you about sex magic. If you guys want to dive into that, I have a book
Pull
on
those-
sex magic. I don't know if you can see it.
Ooh, thanks, man.
There it
you go.
goes. But it has a lot of various things inside of spirituality and sexuality. It says for goddesses, but it's the fellas, you can use it too. And if you can't get to me or get with me, that is a great way. Oh,
There we
oh, maybe a time.
Is it available on Amazon or on?
Yes. Yeah, so I have 3 books on Amazon. One is on manifesting called 30 Ways to Start Manifesting. I have the Sex Magic book, and then I have 7 Days of Orisha. If you're looking to get into African spirituality, those are 3 different like journaling kind of guide books. So
Okay. And if we search like Goddess Jessie on Amazon,
it
all
should be
that.
under.
Sex Magic will pull up a couple, but definitely I think Sex Magic and
Yep, so you can search Jessica McBride is under my government name.
Okay.
And but also on my Instagram, if you go to the link in my bio, like everything is right there, and you can get with me, or you can even set up a consultation with BK to figure out which way you want to go about what you want to do. And you don't have to work with me if you're a woman, or work with him if you're on the mass side. It can go either way, but we do look out for our people. So
All
yes.
right. I love it. I'll definitely make sure to update the description with all of that
for
information
sure.
for sure, for sure. And as y'all know, y'all can find me across pretty much all platforms. Irene the Passion Queen. You can go to thequeendom.com, thequeendome.com if you want to get any of my books, Vacation, The Purple Dungeon, or The Sexual Awakening Journal. And I will see y'all next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace. Thank you again.